I do that.
Welcome to episode 107 of Play PSVR2, the podcast. We're coming at you hot and heavy with more of a low key, keep it chill. We're trying to make sure our energy doesn't get too hot because we still got like 2 weeks of this. We're still waiting, guys. We're still waiting until suddenly it all builds up and we get hit with a
Blammo!
when the PSVR2 finally comes out. Oh, Adam, we're so close. How are you doing, my friend?
Dude, I am excited because tonight, most of the time we're structured. I'm sure the listeners can tell that we are very detailed and we button our top button even. But tonight we're just gonna riff. I'm gonna riff with my co-host, the man, the myth, the guy that's like a mushroom in a cornfield. Here's the thing, Alex. First let's do Gamer Juice. And then I want to talk to you about the final thing on PSVR that I needed to do that I did this week. And I'm going to put a video or a picture of this on YouTube because just seeing it in the video and me describing it isn't going to be good enough. At Jungle Gyms, I bought this soda. I don't even know what flavor it is. Didn't matter. There's a picture of Osama bin Laden, and he has really big, almost googly eyes, but it's a realistic photo-ish of him, a depiction, and then he's got the big eyes, just like he saw his first pair of boobies or something like that. And then the name of it is called Seal You Later, S-E-A-L, Seal You Later. I don't know. I think I know why. And then on the side, it says, knock, knock, who's there? America! And that's what I'm talking about, baby. America for the win. Borderline, I don't know how they can sell this in a store. It is wildly inappropriate. And this is just first of many inappropriates that I'm going to have. So before I begin, I have no idea what flavor this is. It's in a dark bottle. Do you think this maybe root beer? What do you want to guess this is?
It's going to be fruity because it's like an easy drink to make. It's going to taste like a sweet tart or something, I bet.
Okay.
I bet. What are you feeling?
It's definitely not fruity.
Is it sweet though? Probably root beer then.
If it's root beer, it's bad root beer. It's like bland root beer.
Are there no ingredients? Is it at least carbonated?
Man, it is carbonated.
All right, Adam, this is boring me quickly. I mean, it's all in the picture and there's no pizzazz. Adam, you inspired me. Last week you got hop water. I was at Publix checking out the Publix, and I got sparkling hop tea. Hop tea. It's got a little bird on it. I don't know why it's called hop tea. Made with citra hops and white tea. So I don't think this is the same kind of hop as your hop water, but we're going to see how it goes. Adam, how's your Osama bin Laden water?
Dude, it's definitely sweet. Man, that is the most abysmal root beer if it is root beer. And the thing is, I feel like it might have to be. I've never tasted a soda that's sweet but tastes like nothing. What is this? I'm going to look it up on the interwebs. What's yours taste like?
I don't know. It's not good. It doesn't taste like... Maybe it's because I've drank so many like crappy energy drinks and stuff. I'm going to put it on some ice, mixed with a little bit of this Red Bull I had. Maybe that'll make it taste better. But yeah, Adam, I'm going to put it out there. We all have questions. What's with the sunglasses today, man?
Dude, I wear my sunglasses at night. And it's because, listen, I was going to brag on myself, but let's go right into it. I asked for lyrics to give away 2 codes of Song in the Smoke. You had to give us lyrics of anything. We got some website inquiries. We got Twitter. It's time to spin a number. I'm going to give a number. You have them, each person, I guess, each entry listed as a number. This number is going to determine who gets those codes. So it is random. We're not playing favorites. We're not picking our favorites. We feel like that's unfair.
We might have favorite lyrics, but you're not going to know what they are.
Ah, that's right. I'm also assuming that you're going to follow my lead and actually choose. So the first one is number 5.
Number 5. All right, that is K247. No, not 24/7. K27. He comments often. He said, "Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games." So that's the Guns N' Roses song. We were hoping for original lyrics, but that's okay. This is a cover version of that song. Welcome to the jungle. True. We got fun and games. It fit the criteria. He wins a code for Song in the Smoke, Adam. Congratulations.
And he didn't come up with his own lyrics, but they are very fitting. Of you got fun in the jungle because Song and Smoke, fun in games. Obviously, it's a game. We're gonna PSVR. It's fun. It's a game. It's very apropos, as you would say, as my family says.
I forgot. I'm sorry. We got to celebrate this. Little air
That's
horn there
right.
for K27. Yeah, I'm trying to get used to my soundboard, but we got it for you. We got it. Congratulations, man. Have some Song in the Smoke.
Yeah, smoke it up. Now number 2. Ooh,
Number
back to back.
2,
Low
we're
numbers.
we're talking about Kylar.
Oh, Kylar, what he
Kylar
write?
coming at us. Let me sing it. Okay, he gave us like a flow here. I feel my heart beating fast as I look up on the future. At last, the upgrade I've been waiting for is almost here. I don't think it's supposed to rhyme. Can't take it anymore with PSVR2. The experience will be intense. Song in the Smoke rekindled. I'm ready to immerse.
It sounded good until the very last word. I was like,
Maybe.
oh.
It's all right. I don't think he was going for lyrics, like a melody. Either way, I can auto-tune this and turn it into a straight banger.
Dude, the thing is, we do appreciate everyone who came in. I kind of feel bad. Matilda wrote seemingly his own song, so did Jim Profit, and they were very good. They didn't win the codes, but we actually have more codes rolling in. Maybe we'll send a little something sweet to you when we get some extra codes. We know we're getting some more Song in the Smoke codes. They're just going to be coming in. These people are going to have to upgrade to the PS5 version. You might just get the PS5 version. So this soda, it makes sense. It's a
Back
very
to the
weird
soda.
choice.
Okay.
They just say it's their craft soda in a glass bottle. So it's not supposed to be root beer or a replica of anything. So they made their own soda, but it's just off. Like,
what if it was Osama bin Laden's favorite soda, and it turns out you drank it and you liked it, and actually you are the new Osama bin Laden?
That's why I'm wearing glasses. My eyes.
You're
look
getting
like
googly. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so here's the thing. Going back to VR, PSVR, guys, we have a ton of news that we're going to riff in the first segment. Second segment, we're going to cover all of the multiplayer PSVR2 games that are coming out at launch, and we're going to decide kind of like a little showdown. Which one are we going to play? Which ones do we need to buy right now? Which ones can be upgraded? And then that's going to determine the first weekend where we're going to play. So, Alex, the one last thing I needed to do with my PSVR, there's a little slippery man named That Guy Is Will. And I looked on the leaderboards and he beat me in marathon in Tetris Effect. He got me good. And so I had to break his record. Of all my friends, he was number 1, and he was number like 500 in the world, actually. And I was like, I have to do it. And it's endless marathon. So really, it's almost more of a test of willpower than anything, because the speed gets capped at speed level 15. So I had to play like 2.5 hours to beat this man straight. But I did it. I beat Will. If you look at our friends, I am now number 1, except for Bob Washington, probably. But there we go. Sorry, Will. You're no longer the winner, big boy. You're number 500, and guess what? Yeah. I'm like 454 or something like that. Anyhow, there it is, Alex. How proud of me are you?
Adam, you're a person that I never expected greatness from, and this is the closest that you've gotten to greatness, and I have to appreciate your accomplishment in that vein. However, that goes double for crushing That Guy Is Will. He deserves all the disgrace coming his way. He deserves all the shame that he feels. Will, if you're listening, know that we are looking down upon you now because you are lower than Adam in the Tetris Effect leaderboards. You are no longer top 500. Adam is a top 500 man in Tetris Effect connected for the PSVR. That's right. Adam has usurped you as the greatest man in the PSVR Tetris Effect multiplayer marathon leaderboards.
Yes. I mean, I am thrilled with that. I feel like now I don't have to play it again for a long time. The game sucks.
No, you're going to play it when it gets upgraded to PSVR 2.
But it doesn't mean I have to play it.
You're going to play it. I just know it. It's there. You're going to play it. You can't stay away from this game that you supposedly hate.
I really do. Here's the thing, Alex. This is what's beautiful. Moving on. You told me about this news that there's maybe rumors rumbling around that during the Super Bowl, Sony is going to have an ad. It may include PSVR2, maybe a game, something. You even mentioned something to God of War. I pretty much dismissed you. I was like, you're a fool. You know, they're not going to spend, it's like $7 million for a 1-minute ad. I'm like, they're not going to do that. Are you opening a can of Pringles or something? What are you
No,
doing?
sorry. I had to get a straw out of my cup so I could drink from a straw to make this more easy for us. This is a laid back one, Adam. Quit stressing me out, man, with your
Listen,
glasses
here's the thing.
interrogating me, copper.
I think you might be correct because I keep seeing this rumor bounce around different outlets, bigger outlets, and there's something to this God of War thing. So that's got me thinking, one, my nips, look at them. They're hard. I mean, how could they hold? I don't know how they could hold this. Like this close to the date. The other suspicious thing is they have an embargo on headset reviews for all of the big reviewers, and it lifts after the Super Bowl. Well, there's obviously something like the people with it pretty much were like, there's something big, but we can't tell you yet. So there is something. And I would imagine maybe these are linked. So why would they wait this long to tell if they have a big announcement worth $7 million friggin' dollars for a Super Bowl ad? Why would they wait this long to just blow our brains out?
So I mean, here's the thing that gives us some credence is, I mean, we're not the hot shots. We're not pining for codes. Send us your codes, please. But we're doing what we can, you know, to get some codes, review some games and stuff like that. But there's the bigger channels and the bigger people out there have, you know, gone on the record saying that they've gotten review codes for games that they can't talk about yet. Now, if you're being given a review code already, then that means the game is, you know, pretty much done, or it's about to hit the store, or maybe it does hit it's already on the store and it hasn't been released yet. But so that's kind of got people speculating, right? And then there's been some rumors that, like, hey, I've gotten review codes I can't talk about at the embargo list on the 15th, which again coincides with Super Bowl. And so that's where the Super Bowl thing came from. And then there were already rumors going in the flat gaming space, the PS5 space, that there's going to be some kind of Sony advertisement in the Super Bowl. And there's a rumored expansion or DLC or something for God of War Ragnarok that's going to be announced. And there's like some cryptic stuff, like there's a Blizzard and Ragnarok or something like that. And nobody really knew what it meant. So it's like all these little breadcrumbs are being sprinkled about, and we're trying to figure out what loaf they fell out of. And so it's all, you know, here's the deal with these kind of rumors and stuff is, you know what you want in your mind, and you're picking up all the evidence and forcing it to go in that direction. However, it is quite interesting that there is a review code of something coming out that people did not expect. However, when people said, hey, that's a code I didn't expect, they didn't seem terribly excited about it. They're just kind of like, oh, that's something interesting that you'll learn about soon. So that makes me think that it's not something as like epic as Half-Life Alyx is going to be announced at the Super Bowl. It feels to me more like there's going to be an announcement of like, oh, there's like a VR mode for God of War Ragnarok, and it's you know, what's his name? What's a guy? Kratos' axe throwing experience or something like that. Like I'm really worried that's what it's going to be.
Why would they not? They did that with Horizon, the big title name. Why would they not do that? Because you could argue God of War is a bigger franchise than Horizon, more well known, more cared for. You would think that is something they would want to market right off the gate to convince people, not less than 2 weeks before it drops.
So think about when you're a third-party developer, right? And one of the things that comes into your mind when you're selling a game is, what am I going up against? Now, you're going up at PSVR, you're going up against the launch against Gran Turismo 7, which is already out, so it's lost some luster, but that's going to be a heavy hitter. Resident Evil 8, Horizon's the new game, and then all these other games, 30-something games, 40-something games at launch. So it's like, how are you going to be able to make your mark? Now, if this is a really big title, what Sony has done is let the hype build up for these smaller games so people pre-order. Like me, you know, I pre-ordered Light Brigade, Song in the Smoke, Tentacular, all these games that just, they look fun, I want to play it. If I'm a discerning gamer and I'm watching my budget, and it's not going to happen, but Half-Life 2 gets announced at the beginning of the hype train, then I'm not going to be spending money on this other stuff. I already have Half-Life Alyx. That's what I'm going to be playing. So it's wise if they do have some big announcement to wait a little bit to let all these other games get the hype built up behind them, get people pre-ordering, kind of get as much movement as possible. Then they drop this bomb that everybody's going to be shelling out the money for. So I mean, if it is God of War, I would love it if it was God of War Ragnarok with a VR mode. I don't know how that would work, to be honest, but I would love to see it. I'm not a huge God of War fan. The first God or the God of War 2018 just didn't. It wasn't that fun to me. But maybe in VR it'd be a lot more fun. I'm hoping. Here's what I'm hoping is that it's like some kind of Astro's Playroom type thing, like the next Astrobot, right? I mean, PSVR is what made Astrobot, and it seems silly to not have something, even if not like a standalone Rescue Mission 2 or something, still like an Astro's Playroom that you would download from the PlayStation Store and play. Now, why they're giving out review codes for it, that seems kind of odd to me because it seems like it should be like a pack-in free game again. So I don't know. There's all sorts of things like I don't know what this could be, and evidence points in all the directions. But whatever it is, I'm kind of excited to find out. And it does seem silly that it'd be advertising the Super Bowl, but when God of War came out, they had that like Ben Stiller commercial that like I never saw. I watched a YouTube video for it.
Sure.
That's obviously a lot of money that they spent for that. I don't even know who that's going to. So I guess they're getting somebody.
A stupid commercial. Yeah, I definitely am on board for something with Astrobot. I think it needs it. People would be excited for it. The Super Bowl, you got to think that you have kids watching, you have women watching, you got dudes. Astrobot is a cute little adorable kind of logo and mascot for PSVR. It would make sense if it were that. Do you think it could be maybe a PlayStation commercial and then PSVR is just tucked in there? Or do you think it's going to be a commercial all about PSVR 2?
I don't think it's going to be all about PSVR 2. Sony's, I think, been on the record saying that they are here to pump as many PlayStation 5s out there as they can. And then they think the PSVR 2s will come, right? Because the PlayStation 5's an integral part of the PSVR 2. So I'd imagine it's probably going to be one of those things where it's like, here's what PlayStation 5 is doing this year. And it's going to show games that have already been launched and sizzle reel of all these different games. And there's probably going to be some VR stuff thrown in. But, that'd be the perfect kind of way of being like, check it out, PS5, God of War Ragnarok, and a little bit of a VR mode for you too, like if that's how they're going to announce it. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at. But it could just be that there's nothing announced, there's nothing shown at the Super Bowl of any kind of, real value. It's been so long since I've seen Super Bowl commercials that have really dropped bombs of news and stuff. It just seems like such a high investment for such a low return. But I'm here to be surprised.
For sure. I will be watching the commercials even more. I'm going to be on edge even more than the game. Okay, so next we've got some Zenith MMO news. So the developers reached out to us, wanted us to read something on the pod. Just if you've pre-ordered the game, you get some additional things.
Which I have. I pre-ordered it. So do I get this? Actually, I bought the PS4 version. It's an upgrade. Do I still get this thing?
I would think so. It says the mention that the users who pre-order the game on PSVR 2
damn it.
yes, will get the exclusive Mecha Dingo pet.
Dingbo.
Thank you. See, I'm not wearing glasses. That's my problem.
Do you need me to read it?
This. Mecha Dingbo pet, which it's even a cooler word. Dingbo. Yes, I love that. And it's going to be super helpful here. So mentioned that soon after the PSVR 2 launches, they're going to be releasing a major 1.3 release that will feature the Cyber Ninja, player housing, and a ton of other great features. So already, it's cool to know that for this MMO, we're obviously going to have the base game immediately here at launch. But then, if you know you're going to play it, go ahead and pre-order it. I haven't played it. I don't know what Mecha Dingbo pet will do for you, but there's a picture of it on the website. He looks pretty cool. He's a little robot dog thing. And then they already have plans to very shortly after make the game even better by adding more characters and more features. So I love hearing that they're not dropping it and then taking a break. They're continuing to, better the game. We're both probably going to be playing this, right, Alex? This is going to be a game that we are going to have to consider. When do we play this? Is this a day one, a a first weekend game. What? I don't even know. Tell me, are you good at MMOs?
So, I mean, I enjoy MMOs. I don't know what it means to be good at an MMO because usually being good at a game like that just means you played it a bunch. So you grinded and you got the rare drops or whatever. And I never have enough time for that, but I do enjoy MMOs a little bit as much as I can get into them. Um, an MMO in VR is kind of novel to me, so that makes me a bit more excited. Now, I think Zenith is out on PSVR1. It's out on Quest and stuff like that. And the one thing I've heard is that like there's not many people playing it. And that's to be expected in my mind for like a PSVR game because it's kind of the end of the PSVR life cycle. So what I'm hoping is that with the enthusiasm of PSVR2, people are going to be looking for games to play online. They're going to be getting Zenith or upgrading Zenith if they bought it earlier, and it's going to like bring new life to this game, which I couldn't imagine playing an MMO with move controllers. That's why I just never dove in. Now I don't have to use the move controllers. I can use the analog sticks. It should have the enhancements of just better graphics, better visuals, more reliable and stable gameplay. That's more exciting with Zenith. But the big thing is just bringing more players into it, having more people there to play, and also a lot of people like their MMOs to be these endless games that you can play forever. I'd be happy if this was a bit short on content. As I said, there's too many games to play already. I would love it if I spent 30 hours in Zenith and I saw almost everything and I could just put it down. Not that I'd be happy that like your game, I put your game down, but more like I'm happy that I can complete the game and be satisfied that I saw what there is to see. That's great. And then when you drop a DLC, I can hop back in or something like that. So I'm cautiously optimistic about Zenith. I love the idea of a VR MMO. I don't know, Adam. How do you feel about MMOs? Have you played any extensively?
No, I have not. I do want to just mention for all the listeners, if you picked up on that, Alex likes to be satisfied by short things. Hence the mushroom in the cornfield I mentioned earlier. But I don't want to spend any more time about me and my MMO, Alex. I want to talk about this is a semi-airing of grievance, and there's a lot that goes into this. Certainly some of it may be just jealousy, I suppose. I'll admit that. But then some of it is actual true angst and anger that everywhere you look now, all these freaking big outlets that hardly cover PSVR at all to begin with are getting review systems and they're just trying to get friggin' clicks. I hate that our culture is all about clicks. Do whatever, God forbid, it doesn't matter what you do, get the mother effing clicks. I hate that. So everywhere you look, on Twitter, on YouTube, and I know obviously I look up VR stuff, so Google sends me that, but you're ruining the surprise. I now know what the box looks like. I now know what the inside of the contents look like. I now, unfortunately, have seen someone play Gran Turismo, and I saw mud fly up on the windshield. And I don't know what you're thinking. Oh, whatever. The Gran Turismo has been out. It's just the box. It ruins it. If I'm going to spend $500 to $600 effing dollars on something that I find magical, I want to be blown away, and I can't be blown. I can't be satisfied if I already know what's going to happen. Stop posting all this crap. Review, like, I don't want to know about your crap. I don't know why people want to. If you're going to buy one, why review them? You already pre-ordered it. You're not going to convince yourself, Upload VR didn't like it as much, so I'm going to cancel my pre-order. You're not going to do that. Don't wait for yourself. Save yourself for marriage, the marriage of PSVR2, because it's going to be so much better the first time I fit the stupid headset on. And I know it's going to be one cord, but now they're showing, this is what PSVR was, and now look what it was. I lost that now. I would have been like, dude, Alex, look at how small the cord is. It's dinky. It's one cord. It's incredible. That was taken away from me. First time someone splashes mud in my face, that's taken away from me. First time I crack open the box, I already know what it looks like. That was taken away from me. So now I have to shelter myself like a hermit because I may see something that will ruin the experience. You know what? The frickin' reviews should have been embargoed until February 22nd. I'm sure PlayStation is like, maybe if they say they like them, then more people will buy them. You give anyone something free, and unless they're a dick or they're us, they're gonna say, "Yeah, it's awesome. I love that game," or "What a great headset," because it was free. You gave it to them. Of course, they're not gonna burn the hand that fed them. It's bullcrap. People, if we stop watching this stuff, they'll stop doing it. Don't do it. Don't watch their crap because it's ruining it and it's ruining my experience. It's ruining my life. How long have we waited, Alex? 2 effing years? We've been waiting 2 years for this thing, and now it's all going to get ruined. And it's because these people just nonstop post everywhere. There's articles, there's videos, there's GIFs, there's photos. It's everywhere. Instead of in the Super Bowl, some big honkers that normally we'd see, some jugs on ladies, it's going to be 2 freaking PSVR headsets. And I'm going to be like, oh, crap, look, there's a metal piece on the headset that snaps into the holder or something. I don't know, but I don't want to watch. I don't want to find out.
He wants
Thanks,
honkers,
Alex.
you guys. He wants honkers.
I want a big loogie in my face. Instead, all I'm getting is big effing turd. That sucks, Alex. So screw you guys. Screw everyone.
Adam, I do wonder, like, I saw the unboxing videos and I wanted to keep the magic, so I just didn't watch them. Why are you watching them?
I'm not watching them, but when you pop up and there's like very short GIFs or there's pictures.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Like you can't help it, right?
They're doing like a side-by-side comparison of like the PSVR2 with the PS. Yeah, I see that. One thing I think is interesting is not only does Sony give these out and then everybody does an unboxing video, but Sony releases their own unboxing video, which actually I kind of like the approach of like the official unboxing video.
Yeah.
Kind of like when the PS5 came out, they did the teardown, like the official Sony teardown, and like poor all these YouTubers who like have their teardown videos, but Sony's teardown was really cool. Like it was nice, polished, clean. Like we're just
and they like broke the system apart and like showed the components. That's cool. I'm fine with that, but why do you have to do it now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It makes sense. Some people do get hyped about this kind of stuff, right? They like seeing that, you know, the things can be repaired or they can be torn apart.
They don't like to be surprised.
They don't like to be surprised. I mean, I still have the magic. Adam, here's the thing they can't take away from you is you don't have the magic of what it's going to look like, but nobody is going to take away the magic the first time you're sitting in your sex chair with the Arby's roast beef man in front of you. How's that sex chair go? Everybody, Adam sent me videos of his Res Hover sex chair. And they are the funniest videos I've ever seen. I think if we ever deign do a Patreon, those will be the first post. If you pay the premium subscription, you get to see Adam's junk bunched up when he's tied himself up with ropes like some kind of hentai girl, getting trapped with a tentacle monster, hanging from the sex chair swing.
I'm not gonna lie, Alex. I'm a little worried. I tried it today. It's gotten to the point where I guess technically it will hold me, but it's very scary to be in. And
then imagine if you can't see anything. You have no idea how tenuously you're hanging from literally a thread. It's so great. Yes. Oh, please do it.
I mean, not only that, but it's so uncomfortable. It hurts so badly. Like
it's mind over matter. It's mind over matter.
No, dude, it's like I'm not even going to be able to enjoy the game. It hurts so bad. It's like constant rope burn. So what I've done is put towels on the front of my body and then put the ropes around it. That way there's some buffer. That helps. But like there's so much pressure. And I have a couple weeks to ease myself into and kind of get used to it, right? But it's not great. I mean,
this is a problem. This is a problem that's been solved though, because like people have harnesses where they float and stuff like that already. I feel like here's the thing. Adam's just doing this with a piece of rope that he's wrapping all over his body to hang from. Why don't you just tie it into a harness?
A harness is expensive, dude. To get a harness that holds that much weight is...
You don't need a harness that holds that much weight. You have the rope that can hold your weight. I'm spending too much time analyzing it. It's just, if you guys could see, please, Adam, send us a good picture of you tied up in the rope so I can send that to our buddies.
I don't think I can do both. I can't dangle and film. Okay, well, here's the thing. What's the next thing we're talking about? What can we do here in 5-10 minutes? Okay, here we go. Here's one. Here's a short one. And we'll have to riff a little more after the segment break here. But I saw Song in the Smoke. 17-Bit posted a video, and it was a quest version of the game and a PSVR2 version of the game. Very short. I mean, you're entering a part of the jungle. I mean, it's a GIF, so it's 5 seconds of a video. But they were talking about, hey, here's the differences, and a bunch of people were like, "Oh wow, what a difference!" And I will be the first to admit, I'm not a graphic snob. Like I don't analyze that hard, but I'm just gonna be honest, Alex. I couldn't tell that much difference. So should that worry me? Does that worry you? Or maybe you've seen the same tweet and you actually saw a difference.
So I saw the same footage, and I will say that it was a bit underwhelming, right? But here's the thing: is it all depends on how you're experiencing that. So if you're seeing like a tweet, you're probably watching it on your phone or something like that. The video quality is not going to be great because it's from Twitter to begin with. But what you're not catching is the immersiveness of the graphics. So when I first saw initial footage of Song of the Smoke, the game looked fun, but it was underwhelming. This is on the PSVR. Like it looked good, but it didn't have the best presentation. Then when I did see the footage of the PSVR2 version, to me that was a stark difference. So I think, and this might be to kind of what Colin mentioned in the interview we did last week, where it's really hard to capture like good trailer footage of the game because the game is so like adaptable and changing and things like that to show off these graphical enhancements. But what I did see when I watched the PSVR2 version is like the textures on the hands looked way better. It's not as muddy. It looks clear and you can see the artistic direction. It looks like, to be honest, it looks like a next gen flat game. But knowing it's in VR makes me more excited about it. And then texture on like the foliage and stuff like that pop in the distance is less likely to occur. And then, as they said, the field of view that you have, seeing all the stuff around you, they don't have to block your eyesight. That stuff's hard to convey in like a quick GIF of like 5 seconds of footage. So I think it was kind of difficult to make that comparison. Maybe that's why it's underwhelming. And when I watched the PSVR2 footage on its own, I can feel the difference as compared to when I saw PSVR footage back around the time when the game was coming out. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, Adam. I mean, I'm still hyped as hell for the game, and it looks like it's gonna feel great once I get in there. So I'm excited to hop in and just enjoy this beautiful scenery as I whack lions with sticks.
So Alex is gonna whack off lions.
I didn't say that. You added that in there and got us demonetized.
You said you're gonna whack lions. See, here's the thing. I played Amnesia. I like horror games. And thank you, Alex, for giving me the game on Steam. And I have a Steam Deck, so I started playing it because I heard it's one of the most terrifying games of all time. VR changes the game, folks. It messes with your mind. It just reconceptualizes everything you know about gaming to where I play what is supposedly one of the scariest games ever made. It is a cakewalk. I'm not even... I'm like, what is this? It's not scary at all. It's boring, if I can be honest. I'm about 2.5 hours in, so it's not like I played 15 minutes. It's because of Resident Evil 7 in VR. Once you've been through the Persistence, once you've been through Home Sweet Home, these flat games do nothing, man. The immersion changes it all. It makes you feel it. I'm ready to get hurt again. Bring on Resident Evil 8. And Amnesia, I'll show you. I'll have amnesia because I'll be having to take too many ibuprofens. Gonna overdose and forget because I don't know. You can't. Can you overdose on ibuprofen?
No, it just hurts your stomach a lot. Yeah.
Okay, well then that's so good. Alex, have you noticed that flat games, especially in the horror genre, they just don't hit the same?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for the most part, because the difference is if you're playing a scary game when it's flat, you just look away from the TV, right? Like it's very easy to escape what's happening because you're surrounded by things that are not the game. But when you're playing in VR, I mean, this was the thing that happened to my friend when he played Resident Evil. I think it was the kitchen demo, or no, he played the Resident Evil 7 demo before the game came out. I made him play it. And
incredible best demo I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you're walking through the house, you go in and watch the video, and then you turn around and start walking out, and you just see the guy walk by the door. And my friend just stopped dead in his tracks, and he just sighed and hung his head because he knew, like, there's nowhere to go. You're surrounded by this horrible atmosphere, and no matter where you look, it's just things are just terrible. And you have, like, That's the thing. When I'm playing a flat game and it's scary, like it's tense and it's kind of nerve wracking and stuff, and there's a bit of anxiety being induced. But when I play the game in VR, I have to psych myself up and be like, Alex, I know you're playing VR. You feel like you're there. It's just a game, man. Get going, man. It's just a game. What kind of a man are you if you can't walk through that door? So that's the difference of VR. Is I gotta pep talk myself to get through this stuff, and so I could totally see how Amnesia, hailed as one of the scariest games for its time, could have lost its luster, and all scary games could have lost their luster in the face of VR and what that's doing to you with the sights and the sounds and the presence and the immersion, and stuff is coming at your face, not just coming at the screen. Yeah. I can't wait for Resident Evil 8. I don't think it's going to be as scary as 7, because from what I gather, it's more of like an action game. Kind of like Resident Evil 1 was kind of a scary game. Resident Evil 2 is more of an action version of that same motif. I feel like this is what that's going for, but I'm fine. Like Resident Evil 7 was fun for the action. Resident Evil 8, if that turns up the ante, like I'm more excited for it. I can take that. I can always play Resident Evil 7 and crap my pants again if I want to.
Dude, yeah, I'm excited for it too. That demo, that Resident Evil demo, how much would you pay to play that demo? Because I have played entire PSVR games that don't even touch how good that demo was in terms of replay value, in terms of Easter eggs, in terms of secrets, in terms of multiple endings, in terms of immersion and environment. How much do you think you would pay for that puppy?
I mean, easily it's like a $10 experience compared to other games that like are $10 and they last like an hour. That game had like, I don't know, 5 hours of content if you started digging around in there. Like there was a lot going on. And man, that sold the technology so freaking hard. So we're lucky that Resident Evil 8 comes out of the gate with VR support. Whereas we had to wait for Resident Evil 7.
I mean, I just am so blown away by how good that demo was. I can't believe it. What I can't also believe is we still have a lot to talk about, folks. I know you're like, wow, you guys just blew through topics. We got more. We didn't even get through all the topics in segment 1. So we're going to talk about Pavlov's, the developers, saying that the PSVR2 is stronger than PS or PC VR. Big news there. Should you play Gran Turismo 7 in flat mode before PSVR2? We'll talk about that, and then we're going to talk about all the multiplayer games at launch and which ones you should purchase, which ones you should upgrade, and which you should play right once you get your headset. Stick with us. We'll see you after the break.
Welcome back to segment 2 of Play PSVR2, the podcast, episode 107, and we're here to talk to you about multiplayer games on PSVR2 at launch. But before we get into that, Adam, you briefly mentioned it. There was a discussion, I think it was on the Discord, and then it was tweeted out on Twitter about Pavlov. That's right, Pavlov is going to be out for launch. It's wish listable right now. I added it to my wish list.
Why would they not just let us buy the game? I'm not doing this wish list bull crap. Let me pay for the game. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to partake. I'm going to be like Eve in that Garden of Eden. Let me partake of your fruit. Bankrupt games.
Thank you, Adam. Anyways, they discussed that they think that...
You didn't even acknowledge it.
No, that was bad. No, the developer of Pavlov said that they were testing out the game, and they say on PSVR 2 it's 10% faster than their own PC VR setup, which their PC VR has a 3090 Ti GPU, which that's not the best GPU, but it is one of the best GPUs. It's like the second best or third best at this point in time. So basically, they have a beefy computer that they do PC VR with, and PSVR 2 is 10% faster than that. That's exciting to hear, and I think all that overhead's created because of the foveated rendering, right? Like, we know that that's helping out a whole lot, but it's nice to see that it has that kind of a dramatic effect where these $1,500, $2,000 computers are slower than the PS5. Granted, there's also optimizations with the PS5 that we can take advantage of, which is great and wonderful. But I'm so glad that we're getting like the definitive, the best version of this game, Pavlov, that I've heard so much about but never been able to play. Adam, do you care about that? You said you're not a graphics snob, but are you glad that you're at least going to be on the cutting edge of VR for once in your life?
Yeah, I think, and that's where I am. I don't really care about this particular game or any particular game, but it's nice when you're going to show out this much money to know, and we realize it's going to be usurped by something in the near future. It's how it always is, right? But that we will have the definitive, unless you just go freaking nuts and buy the best graphic card and spend twice as much as your PS5 and PSVR2, some insane amount of money, you have the best way to play virtual reality. That's really cool. That makes you feel better about dropping $550 on this thing. I'm happy for Sony that, at some point we all wanted a second version of the PSVR sooner, but at least with the time that they've taken, they're coming to market with a better product, something that again is on the cutting edge. It's not like they had something planned and then the Quest came out with it, beat them to the punch, and now we're playing second fiddle again. We're going to be on the forefront. It's going to be exciting. Pavlov does sound effing dope, though. I did some research.
It looks really good. Yeah, it looks really good. So here's the cool thing. It's got all the different game modes. It's a 5 versus 5, squad-based, action shooter deathmatch type thing. But it also has like the zombies game mode, which is going to be fun for like wave shooter co-op type stuff. But then it's got some cool stuff. Like there's a game mode in there that's like that game Among Us, but it's in Pavlov. So it's 9 versus 1. One person's the imposter, and it's like a murder mystery, and one person's going around killing everybody else. That's going to be really fun to play. I never even thought about doing something like that in a first-person shooter game. And then there is a like 9 versus 1 mode where like one person's super powerful and the other 9 people have to try to take him out. So it's really interesting that although it's going to be primarily a multiplayer-only game, there's not a single-player campaign, but cool. At least the multiplayer modes we're getting are varied, and the game looks awesome, and the gameplay looks legit. And again, it's like the best version of the game we could get. And the nice thing about this I really like is that as PSVR specific enthusiasts, we got crapped on for so long because everybody's just talking about PSVR sucks, the tracking sucks, the game sucks. And we knew the Move controllers had its deficiencies. We knew there was issues with tracking the PSVR, but we still loved it because it brought us to VR. It brought a lot of people to VR that otherwise wouldn't have a chance to do it. And now those same people, if they followed along with PSVR, are now, they're the ones. I'm going to be crapping on the PC guys. I'm going to be crapping on the Quest guys. Not because I look down on them, but because they're below me. That's why I'm going to be crapping on them.
It's like my dating life. I have dated all these chicks. Everyone's just making fun of me.
And you crap on them?
Below me. You're dating dogs. And then I upgraded to your mom, and now I'm like, look, son, and they have no response because they look at your mom, they look at their girl, and there's no comparison. It's great. I know you're not one to compare consoles or have console wars or get all up in the arms about, your PC VR is better and all this crap. You've kind of already addressed it. Are you happy that this is better, going to be the best thing on the market, essentially? Or are you just glad to have it and you don't really compare it against other hardwares and competition in the market?
I'm happy. I mean, of course, I'm happy that I'm going to be getting like the best VR headset you can pretty much get. I mean, barring some extremely priced thing. But what makes me happy is that we're getting all these extra things, the head haptics, the adaptive triggers, the foveated rendering, on top of the cutting edge graphics and the best versions of these games and stuff like that. So I'm glad that PSVR 2 is not being released in a state where it is like half a step behind the front runners, right? And so I think in terms of graphical fidelity and stuff like that, it's up there with the Quest Pro or whatever. I haven't done the research. I haven't checked the metrics, but I'm pretty sure in terms of like resolution and things like that, it's right up there, maybe better. But then the graphical fidelity, because we have a wire, whatever. I'm not, even when I play with like a Quest, I don't run around my room. I'm still using the analog sticks to turn around because it doesn't feel nice to like move around in my room. So it's just nice that we're not already a half step behind, that we're actually in front of the pack for this, console specific VR thing that we've loved already and we're ready to love again.
And I'm excited to play Pavlov because I'm sure at some point there may be a score mode, or is there, some type of score mode? Do you know?
I think there's probably like a zombie mode where you can like see who gets the most waves or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so my plan is to play that, wait, about 2 weeks before PSVR 3. And when Will is at the top of the leaderboard, go at him again and steal his crown right at the 11th hour. It's going to be great. Alex, I want to move on because this is tough, okay? I have been told multiple people are playing Gran Turismo 7 before the PSVR 2 gets here. The only reason I can think of why is because it takes about 2.5 hours to get to the point in GT7 where you can play multiplayer. And people want to play multiplayer in PSVR 2. So that is their reasoning and why they're playing it in the flat mode. So then once they obviously get their headset, they can do multiplayer. My issue with that is I've already addressed it. I want to be shocked and awed. If I play in the flat mode, I'm going to see the tracks. I'm going to already see how good it looks. I'm going to see the cars. I'm going to see the mud and the rain that's on the windshield. And so that's going to take away from that surprising factor. I mean, the only racing game I've ever played in VR is Wipeout, which is very good, but I'm pretty sure Gran Turismo 7's on its own stratosphere here, right? So in a way, I want to just be freaking floored, pun intended. But I also want to play multiplayer. So what is your plan, and what would you recommend me to do you think?
So, I mean, I talked to our buddy Shafe, Shafe Dog, Shafe Stradamus, the guy formerly known as Shafe Stradamus before we buried him in the last episode.
Yeah, it's bad.
So he actually played for a little bit to unlock the multiplayer mode, because here's the thing about Gran Turismo is there's a point in the game where you're like getting introduced to how the game works, because it is a driving simulator if you're not used to that. And you do have to earn licenses, right? If you want to do these top tier races, you have to, complete laps and things like that to make sure that you know how to use the cars appropriately. And to do that, it takes a certain amount of time. You got to get used to the mechanics and stuff. But also, there's like menus you have to navigate. There's a lot of stuff going on. You can modify the cars in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things to get used to. So I think I don't want to spend my VR time, because the VR time's at a premium with how many games we're going to have released. I don't want to waste my time in VR navigating menus and stuff like that. I want to already know how those things work so I can quickly get through them and get to the racing. So I'm planning on playing Gran Turismo 7, the flat version, to at least unlock multiplayer. That's going to be my point where I can say, okay, I'll stop now. But it's one, to unlock multiplayer, and two, just to acclimate myself with like how to get into a race, so I'm not fiddling with the controllers as much. Shafe told me that it took about 2.5 hours. That's about his time commitment required to get to the point where he could unlock multiplayer mode. Adam, I'm going to recommend you do the same. That way we have a chance to play multiplayer, and it's not going to be like if you don't do it now in flat mode, you're probably not going to feel compelled to do it at all, because we're all going to be racing multiplayer, and you're going to be playing Gran Turismo 7 by yourself. The way to keep that wow factor, I suggest, is you play the game in like third-person mode. You put the camera behind the car, so you see the car, you're playing flat like that. Then when you play in VR, you use the cockpit mode, so it feels new, and it's not something you've seen before. You can play cockpit mode in flat, just don't do that. Change your view to the third-person mode so it feels like a video game and you're separate. Save the cockpit mode for when you are in VR. Then it feels like a new game for you again. Does that sound appealing? Does that sound like it'd work for you?
That's a good idea. I mean, it makes sense why you would do it. It really does. I don't want to waste that time either, but I also want to be surprised. It sounds like maybe it's going to be so good in PSVR 2 anyhow that it doesn't matter if I got a sneak peek. I'm still going to be blown away.
Yeah, the footage I'm seeing is unreal. It's just unreal the way it looks. It looks like, when games are first announced, they have like the mock-up videos of like that's not. It says like not real gameplay footage, or it's captured in engine, but it's not real footage. It looks like those kind of games, but this is the recorded VR footage. I can't believe it. I can't believe we're at this point. And so I don't think the wow factor is going to go away. I think the game will look pretty on PS5 in the flat mode. Get used to how a driving simulator works. That way, again, you're not wasting your time like how it's a sim and what I got to like brake and how do I turn and change gears and stuff. Hammer those things out so you can focus as much as possible on the immersion when you do finally play it in VR.
Do you realize that our golden streams for like the first month, we're going to be streaming and we're just going to be like, oh my, oh. It's going to be us laughing the whole time.
Yeah, it's going to get us giddy.
I'm gonna be blown away. I can't wait. And if you like to attend the streams, you better wear some earmuffs. Because speaking of that, very quick topic, and I think we've already discussed this. You think I should get the Pulse headset, right?
Yeah, I mean the Pulse headset's pretty comfortable. And
Do you think
the
it'll
one
fit well over a headset?
oh, so that's what they're using when they did like CES demos and stuff like that. They gave people the Pulse headset, and that was a complaint that people had was like, I'm not going to have this when I play PSVR. A lot of people like the earbuds. I understand there's like noise cancellation and they just like it sticking in their ears, but the Pulse headset feels really good. I don't know. There might be some competition between like the Pulse headset's microphone and the VR headset's microphone. I don't know which one's going to pick up better. The Pulse headset never worked really well for me in terms of microphone. But I have the Pulse headset. I don't use it too terribly often, but I'm excited that they at least seem to think about the ergonomics of the headset with that Pulse headset, along with VR, to make it fit. And here's the thing: after doing like over the ear headsets like this with VR, it is nice to make it feel kind of add some extra balance to the weight on your head, and it makes you feel more enclosed and secure, even though nothing's really touching. It's just kind of an extra level of like I have something on my head. I'm totally now closed off to the world around me. The other nice benefit is it's going to be a wireless headset.
Yeah.
So just less likely that you might accidentally rip out the earbuds, which used to happen to me on PSVR, the first iteration of it. I'm glad to avoid that if possible.
Yeah, I enjoyed the rigs for VR, but certainly the Pulse is better than that. So upgrade headphone, I thought you should upgrade, or if I upgrade the headset, I should upgrade the headphones. I hate the in-ear ones because when you talk, you like hear your own reverberation in your skull. I hate it. I mean, I could think of very few things I would rather do less than have some of those in my ear and
Name one
stream or
thing.
talk.
Name one thing that you'd rather do less.
Wow. Okay, I think I would rather wear a banana hammock, kill a porcupine while its spines are out, and then teabag it, Halo style, for like 5 straight minutes. I'd rather do that less than put those things in my ear and talk. It's
I do
horrible.
that.
I do that. Exactly. Now, speaking of Gran Turismo, let's move to our multiplayer because, Alex, we have a big decision here to make. There are, let me try to read, 2, 4, 6, 8 games at launch that are multiplayer. There are 2. It is No Man's Sky and Creed that are in the launch window, but they won't be launch titles on the 22nd.
Is No Man's Sky? No, No Man's Sky is going to be ready to go on launch day, is it not?
I read an article and they said launch window. I don't know.
I find that hard
Either
to
way,
believe.
let's
but you
be
might
honest,
be right.
we're not playing No Man's Sky on day 1 multiplayer. So let's just, even if it is, let's move on. So we have to decide, because I don't own a lot of these games. I have to decide what to buy. And unlike you, I'm not going to buy every single game under the sun just for the sake of having it. When I buy it, I'm going to play it. So we need to decide, what games do we need to buy? Do I need to buy right now? That way they're prepared, they're downloaded, they're installed. Even if we don't play them day 1, that within that first week, they're ready to go when we want to hop in and shoot some stuff. So
here's what I think we should do, Adam. I should have talked to you about this before. We should look at each one game and think of a reason why it should be the first game we play in multiplayer and a reason why maybe it shouldn't be. Does that sound good? You think you can come up with that?
Yeah, easily.
All right,
number one,
right out of the gate.
Tetris Effect.
Yeah.
Let me take it. Number 1, Tetris Effect. I can beat that guy as well. I can beat his score. I know I'm gonna win. The second reason you wouldn't want to play it, it's a freaking sucky game. So there we go.
So, okay, I do want to play Tetris Effect in PSVR 2 just for like the new Zen mode where you close your eyes and stuff. Like, just enjoy the visual enhancements that come with PSVR, the head haptics stuff. There's going to be cool stuff happening in that. So that's the reason I would put that in the front. The backside is I never really found the multiplayer of Tetris Effect super appealing. Tetris Effect to me is not like the competitive version of Tetris that I want to play. I like to play speed Tetris. I don't like to play like Tetris Effect for me is like if I want to play Tetris and chill out. So multiplayer doesn't really mean much for me in Tetris Effect. So that's why I'm probably not leaning in that direction. But on the other hand, it is just readily available, right? We all got it, and we can all play it.
And the thing that has going for it is you could play it for 20 minutes and be done. That is very powerful. I just feel like it doesn't use a lot of the new technologies enough for me to really want to play it very often. I'm not interested in that. So yeah, let's just be honest, we're not playing that. I had to list it because it's legit,
Yeah, yeah.
but we're not going to do it. Next is Pavlov though, and this is rough because we've already talked about. Well, actually, let's just be honest, I'm going to buy it. We're both going to buy it, so I guess it's not tough in that way. But the utilization of the technology, we've already talked about the different multiplayer modes. There's a bunch of variety. Graphics look great. What I'm really interested in, they were talking about how they're using the adaptive triggers and how each machine or your gun feels different and the different ways that they made those very unique when you play with them. I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be a ton of fun. And this, we didn't really discuss if like, should we pick one game that we are going to play day one, or do you think just within our launch window, within the first week,
we gotta pick one game day one. We're not going to say what it is. You don't have to decide right now. We're going to go through the list and then we'll decide what it is.
Yeah.
So, do you have a good reason why you wouldn't play that one day one?
Because I have worries that it could, and this, I'm making it up. I don't know. It's probably great. I'm afraid freaking Firewall ruined me, where I don't want to sit in the freaking host room and wait for people to log on. I don't want to log on and play with a bunch of noobs while a bunch of people from Quest who've been playing for months are on there and pick us off one by one super easily because they know where to hide and they know where the high points are. So it seems like it could, any type of these games, not just Pavlov, could turn and not be fun given the circumstance, given the people you're playing with. But again, that could probably be avoided, right? If we make a party of people that we know, we're all new to it, we're all in the same headset. It's just, can we find 5, 6 people at one time to do that?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, like, this kind of game is a staple of multiplayer video games, right? The first-person shooter, squad, team deathmatch thing. So that right there is its reason why this might be one of the first games to play, just because I love Counter-Strike. I love playing those kind of games. The downside, as you said, is there's people out there that they're just so insanely good at it, and I have no chance to compete. And when you're matched up against somebody, it's not really a fun time to just be getting picked off left, right, and center when you don't have a chance to, like, even learn the map or learn how the best guns and how things work. So that's kind of the downside of it to me. However, it is bolstered a bit by the fact that there's other game modes, right? We could play one of the other game modes where it's not everybody trying to kill us at once. There's just the interesting other game modes. So yeah, it is a staple. The other thing is, like, if you start early, then you are more likely to play on this even playing field, right? Where not everybody else is super good. So that kind of puts it up to the front. But the other downside is, or the reason you might want to wait is that this is still probably going to have a very active community, a year from now. So if you did delay a little bit, you're not going to be missing out on much of the action. People are still going to be there playing the game. They might be good, but you'll still be able to play and see what it's like to play a good multiplayer VR shooter. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly a very appealing game. But let's move down the list to GT7. We talked a little bit about it already. Adam, you're not really much of a racing enthusiast. You liked Wipeout, but I don't get the feeling from you that, like, a car racing game is in your wheelhouse. Not that you hate it, just it's not something that gets you too hyped.
Yeah.
Maybe Gran Turismo 7 is the first one to do it. Obviously, you have to spend 2.5 hours or so to unlock the multiplayer. I think one of the reasons why I might be shying away from Gran Turismo 7 as a multiplayer game that we play on day one is that in Gran Turismo 7, people are having different cars. Somebody's car just might be outright way better than yours, so you have no chance of winning because they've modified their car. And so there might be some kind of rubber banding or some kind of method to even the playing field in terms of the cars. But it's going to suck if the only thing I can drive is a Corolla and everybody else is driving Corvettes. And I'm just racing now by myself, getting lapped because I have a slow car, because I haven't played the game enough to unlock the fast cars. Hopefully there's a way to mitigate that, but I think that would be a reason I might think otherwise about it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I really can't think of a negative thing though I wouldn't want to play this, because even if you're in a Corolla, imagine this, Alex. And again, I haven't played Gran Turismo. I'm assuming you do have some freedoms and liberties you can take as a player. Imagine if you're trying to take your Corolla as fast as possible and you go off a ramp or you intentionally wreck. you're in virtual reality, baby. The best reality you can be in. To feel that, I feel like is gonna be wild, right? I've never been in a car wreck, and I mean, certainly, I know it's not your body's not gonna take the beating, but like that kind of scared me, right? So either
So it's a bit muted in Gran Turismo. Like one of the things about Gran Turismo is I don't know if they have car damage now. They used to not have car damage in the games because they're buying the license for the car from the car manufacturers who don't want to have their cars busted up in the video game. It just looks bad. They might have changed that in recent versions of Gran Turismo, but also it's not the kind of game where you're like going off ramps and stuff like that. It's more just like fast racing, cutting into the corners and stuff like that.
So I was hoping it would be like Wipeout, where there were only certain cars you could play with anyhow, and they were all close enough that it didn't really matter. Now, obviously, if I've got a Bugatti or a Lambo and you're in a Corolla, there's just no way they're gonna make those equal. But yeah, I don't know how the multiplayer works.
They usually, at the very least, they usually class the cars. So it's like we do a B class race, and everybody can pick things. There's like a limit to the horsepower the car can have, and so you're kind of picking cars based on what you like, based on how they handle and stuff. But for the most part, they can kind of compete with each other. So it should be fun and pretty even in multiplayer.
Yeah, I think this is a strong front runner for one of the first games we play with. I mean, I'm sure the other games look great too, but this is one that because we have a frame of reference of being in a car, of seeing Lamborghinis, never being in them, but I've seen them driving every day of our life. We have a reference of what real life looks like, and to compare that to this and it look that good, I think is going to be pretty mind blowing. Whereas I've never held an AR or 47 or whatever they are. I've never, yeah, you know, I don't know. But next game after the fall, and I will definitely rely on you for this because you've played the game. I haven't. One thing that I find interesting is that we have Pavlov, we have Firewall Ultra coming out in the launch window. So 3 games I consider to be pretty close. Certainly they each have their own niche and things that make them unique. But why play this over Pavlov?
Because this is co-op oriented. Pavlov's more competitive oriented. This is a game where, like, even if we suck, we'll have fun together going through it. And I will say, when I played it on PSVR1 with the aim controller, I had a really fun time in multiplayer. I tried playing again by myself, and it wasn't quite as fun. I don't know why, but it just wasn't as fun playing with bots, even though, the experience is more or less the same. But I do think, like, you and I would have a good time with this. And the gameplay mechanics seem good. The weapons feel good. The environments looked good on PSVR1. I really hope they're beefed up for PSVR2, but it's a solid gameplay loop. It's a tried and true formula for a game design of this like co-op zombie shooting game. And it was just pretty fun. Now the reason I'm thinking maybe not is because I wonder how much of a showcase it's going to be for PSVR2, knowing that the assets were originally designed for the PSVR1 or the Quest or something like that. Like, is it going to feel like a remaster of the PSVR1 game on PSVR2? Or are the graphics going to be enhanced enough to where it does feel like a PSVR2 game? That's the one thing that I'm kind of worried about with this. However, I'm excited to play with 2 hands. You get 2 pistols and shooting around. You're not having to like fiddle around with the move controllers to figure out how to move. You can do realistic reloading and stuff like that, which is going to be cool to do. When I played on the aim, you hit a button, right? And you touch your chest to reload and stuff like that. But actually reloading is going to add some intensity to the shootouts. So I'm optimistic about it. I feel like it might not be the showcase title that I might want to have for like my first multiplayer VR game.
Yeah, sounds like something that definitely at some point we play. It may be a first weekend game, but I may let you hop into it first, see what it looks like. And then if it's lagging behind a little bit, I'll wait for maybe a sale or I'll wait a little longer before diving in because of what you just said. That makes sense. Next, we've got Demio. And this is, a game.
Demio.
I say Demio. Do you know it's Demio?
Yeah, the developers call it Demio.
Bob Saget. Okay, you got me. Yeah, I'm cooked. Oh, if I had my beans, I would have taken one. But F me, I do. All right, I got this close to the PSVR 2. I need to get these names right, and I didn't, and I gotta pay the price, and I don't F me, I don't have any gamer dues.
So
And I
while
just
you
broke
hawk a
that.
bean, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this a bit. So
It's spoiled milk and
Demio,
coconut.
so Demio is like a tabletop RPG game, right? And it's kind of going along like the Dungeons and Dragons type idea. And I think it's more of a diorama thing. So it'd be like you and your homies sitting around the same table, going through this action RPG or going through this like strategy classical RPG together. It's certainly a game that I feel like I wouldn't want to play single player, but from what I hear, and J Brat tells me that this game is insanely fun, like unreasonably fun in multiplayer. So while again it might not be a graphical showcase, I don't see how like head haptics would play into Demio, or how foveated rendering is going to make it like this world changing graphical showcase. I do think that it might be one of the games that's most fun to play a multiplayer, all told, just because you're going to have a good time just hanging out with your friends. What are you chewing there, Adam? Spoiled milk?
I'm so scared because I don't like coconut either.
Adam, do you have any thoughts on Demio? You got to power through, buddy.
It's got to be coconut because it doesn't
Okay.
taste like complete garbage.
Yeah,
Wow,
you're not
it still
vomiting.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I love the games where you just hang out. I love board games. And this kind of, I'm almost thinking is similar where we're hanging out. We have a common objective. We have something to talk about if the conversation isn't fluid or we don't know really what to say, but we normally will. And that's where you find out what pansexuals are and all this fun stuff that Werewolves Within. It's going to fill my Werewolves Within hole. And I love being full. So this is great. Wow, yeah. Man, I hate coconut. So I'm pumped for this game. I do wonder how it's going to showcase. Like, it's not gonna. I feel like it just can't be a game that's gonna blow me away, right? Because of what it is. It's not Gran Turismo 7. It's not a shooting game. It's not something that will showcase virtual reality as well. But hopefully, I'm wrong. So next we got Zenith MMO. Wow, while I chew this, you take this.
Yeah, so Zenith MMO, we kind of talked about it a little bit already, but this is a game that MMOs are always like, again, you play with your friends, you're probably going to have a good time. It's a tried and true formula. And I'm always happy to jump into an MMO and grind through a handful of levels and just get that, dopamine rush of like finding new gear and leveling up and getting new skills and wasting the low level enemies with it while I move on to the next quest. And again, I don't like to play these kind of games on my own, so playing it multiplayer is going to be my best shot at having a good time with this game. And again, another thing, like I said, is you got to hop on these games early because the user base might fall to the wayside if it doesn't get enough activity. So if it's not the first multiplayer game we play, it needs to be one of the first ones we play at some point. Just because we want to make sure we get a real experience out of it and get our best chance at enjoying this game.
Yeah, that I agree with that. I have the same concerns with this as I do with Demio. I won't rehash that, but same concerns. Next, Altair Breaker. And I'm going to be honest here. I don't know too much about this game. I contacted developers for an interview. Unfortunately, just schedules didn't align well. And I don't know too much about it, which I guess is scary. Like, if it were really exciting when I watched the demos and stuff, like I would know more about it, right? But I don't. So
it's like a co-op sword fighting game, which could be really cool. What concerns me is that it might just be kind of like a quick port from like the quest. I mean, as quick as something like that could be, but a relatively quick port from the quest. It maybe has a bit sharper visuals, but isn't anything mind blowing. I mean, Sony showcased in one of their blog posts, so maybe there's more to it than I'm giving it credit for. I don't know. The gameplay loop's supposed to be satisfying from what I read. I just don't have the highest hopes for it because honestly, it's probably because I just don't know enough about it. So I don't have a strong inclination to play this at launch. It seems like it might be something that wears thin pretty quickly. But it could just be a perfectly fine gameplay loop that we'd have fun with. There's just no reason that I would put that above some of these other games on the list.
yeah, exactly. That's part of the problem too, right? Like as a game studio, I figure part of your job is to convince us as the players that we should play your game over the others. We just talked about maybe 4 or 5 multiplayer games I would play over this because I don't know much about it. Not saying that it's not the best game on the list. I don't know, but they didn't do a good job marketing it. Damn, more PlayStation, and that's not including the single player games that we know are going to be incredible. So, I have a hard time committing to this. Cave Digger 2, it's top of the list. It's going to be incredible. You and I are going to go in the mines, and you're going to mine up the butt for some. No, I mean, it's going to be. It was an okay game for what it was. Like, I enjoyed it the little bit I played it. It's one of those games that you can mindlessly just talk to each other and mine, but it's not going to be top of the list. Let's be honest.
Well, here's the thing about I liked Cave Digger 1 and I was interested in Cave Digger 2. But I was kind of put off about Cave Digger 2 playing it because it required the move controllers. Now that you don't have the move controllers, we have analog sticks, whatever bugginess there might have been, because obviously this is the second iteration of a game that was already kind of pretty hefty looking for a PSVR 1 game. So maybe it's a bit more fluid, things work a bit better, load times are probably going to be faster. And it does look like kind of a PSVR 2 version of what's that dwarf dungeon game that we played? That was really fun. That was a really fun time. And so if this can get those vibes and make me feel like I'm playing that in VR, then I'd have a hell of a time playing this game. But because it has those question marks, because we've kind of been there and done that a little bit, again, it doesn't put it at the top of the list, but I still really want to play it, and I'm going to be begging you, Adam, to just make some time so we can play this together multiplayer, because you already have it. It's a free upgrade. I got to buy it, but that's fine.
So here's where we're at. We've taken some liberties here. We've got Pavlov, GT7, After the Fall, Demio, and Zenith. I think Zenith falls by the wayside when considering these. So we're down to 4. I think you gotta pick. I would pick Pavlov over After the Fall, just because we know it's been designed for the PSVR 2. We've seen what they've done. It looks incredible. I say we do Pavlov. So Pavlov, GT7, and Demio, and all of those, maybe we play them all. But now, which one is the first one we play?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna play all of these at some point. To me, it comes down to okay, I really want to play Demio. It does look like it's going to be a great time, but it seems like a game that's going to be a great time regardless if I play it now or later. When I'm thinking of the first game, like you said, I want to be wowed. I want to be blown away. I want to feel like I made the right choice in buying this console. And that puts me at Pavlov and Gran Turismo 7. With the caveats that I have about Pavlov, me sucking at first-person shooter games, and the caveats of Gran Turismo 7 that you have to put a time investment to get multiplayer. To me, it's like I'm fine playing a little bit in flat mode to bide my time, so that time investment doesn't really weigh too heavily. So I'm leaning towards Gran Turismo 7. That seems like it's Sony's showcase. This is that system seller for them. So that's the game I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to try to play first. What do you think, Adam? Pavlov or GT7?
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I want to be wowed. We know it already looks incredible. It's got everything going for it. Like I said, the frame of reference. This is definitely the first. We're going to play both these in the first weekend. But Gran Turismo 7, also, you can hop in, play a few races, and quit. It's got that Tetris Effect advantage to it, too. I think that's it. I always internally struggle, but I think Gran Turismo 7, that's it. When is it? Wednesday or Tuesday? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday the 22nd?
23rd is when they actually hit, I think, right? So, they ship 22nd. I think most people get it 23rd. So, yeah, check it out on the 23rd that evening. Adam and I will probably be out there racing. So, if you
wait, I thought we got our units on the 22nd.
Maybe. Who knows how the shipping goes?
Freaking, I hate FedEx. That's my second airing of grievance, but I'm not going to get into it because you know what? I hate FedEx, but I love you, the people. Thank you for listening to Play PSVR 2, the podcast. Stay in touch with us. We've got Twitter, YouTube, contact at playpsvr.com. We've got playpsvr.com. We still got the website. It's a little low now, but once these games coming out, we're going to have reviews and we're going to have accessory reviews. I bought the Collective Minds headset holder and display stand. I'm excited to review that and show it and hopefully beat Alex's lame butt freaking display and charger for his little stupid handheld controllers. But we do appreciate everyone sending us lyrics. Congrats to the winners. Thanks for listening to Play PSVR 2, the podcast, where virtual reality is our reality.